His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a nicer country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
Mr. President, recently we witnessed the demolition of the CDC headquarters in Comodo Town, which was carried out through a court order. How does your administration ensure that such enforcement action done fairly and without political interference?
The law is the law. It's not the government. It's the government implementation of the law. The police were ordered to do it, and they did it. Is that demolition is removal of the people from premises that don't belong to them according to the law.
What will George Weah, who is tempted by Joseph Boakai, who was drowning in his Egypt land, who was dead, very red up, dirty, stink, you could find him passing around, practically dead and useless. Why will such a man conduct make you Weah vex that you will struck the whack and then lose God's own mission to take you to the promised land? That was the test of time today for George Weah. If George Weah had reacted, he would have fallen in the place of Moses.
The Liberian National Police commenced the Congress for Democratic Change for the discipline, calm, and statesmanship demonstrated during the recent eviction process. Your respect for the rule of law, despite the deep sentimental value and history attached to the property, reflects a maturity that strengthens Liberia's democracy. This movement is not only a testament to CDC's leadership, but also a reminder to all political institutions and citizens that our democracy grows stronger when lawful decisions are honored peacefully.
What will will.
The Liberia National Police commends the Congress for Democratic Change for the discipline, calm, and statesmanship demonstrated during the recent eviction process. Your respect for the rule of law, despite the deep sentimental value and history attached to the property, reflects a maturity that strengthens Liberia's democracy. This movement is not only a testament to CDC's leadership, but also a reminder to all political institutions and citizens that our democracy grows stronger when lawful decisions are honored peacefully.
Today, you have a rebel police director who thinks that he has arrived. And the worst thing about all these people, they all benefited from the magnanimity of George Weah. Ranging from people on the bench of the Supreme Court, they got letters from George Weah. If some of them choose to pay him back with evil, it's up to them. The very Gregory come out today. He worked in the previous administration when Weah came. He also got another letter again. If he chooses to do what he's doing, it's up to him. But one thing I can tell you for sure is this is how we had always been molded. That's how God has already molded Weah and catapult him into success. He will suffer rejection, denigration, humiliation. That has been his life. How can you make somebody who has been down the line their shame? The person has gone through shame. They have gone through disgrace. They have done everything they cared. Whatever people thought and were laughing at them, they surmount everything and catapult themselves into becoming someone who is towering that the whole world can look at today. What more can you do? You think you're bringing that person down? You're just hurting yourself. In fact, what you are doing, you are destroying yourself. You know what it takes for you to proud in yourself of being bad? When people are looking for good image, you are happy in becoming a bad person. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much
important. His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Good afternoon. Thank you so very kindly, man, that you join us from wherever you are. Kings 88.5 Real Talk. May 13, 2026, the reign of Judah Christopher. What a day. What an afternoon. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Yes, that's always been great being in your company. We've got the issues on our plate. Yes, the government is still vexed, finding another way, and they want to see Samuel Tweah going to jail. They are doing everything they can. That tells you that it has never been legal but political. It tells you of the grudge-driven president we've got in Joseph Yeman Boakai. It's another day. We go real on Real Talk. Kings 88.5. I'm Sam Andrews, as always. Sam Andrews. Grateful we are to God Almighty, the creator and sustainer of the universe, the God who keeps watch over each and every one, the God who is so good, so faithful, merciful. Yes, great God he is. We're grateful. Having kept watch over us last night, he has brought us into this day to speak truth to power, to make his society better, irrespective of the issues who are involved, the magnitude of it. Ultimately, we have to face the reality head on, whether they like it or not. We ought to. So we go real on Real Talk, as always. Thank you, too, for coming on. We appreciate all of you people. We can say how special you are to us. Thank you so very much. So let's start from what we usually do. Bring some of you on, do not all. We can bring on, let's bring on some of you because you're coming in your, just like the sea flowing down a hill or a river flowing down a hill. Honorable J.D. Williams, Johnsonville, B. Oscar Tokba, District 2, Preston Tokba, Your Community, So Clinic, John Conley, Carey Street, Leonard Williams, Bob Taylor Community, Stephen Sly, Minnesota, USA, Martel Puyo, Batnutsville, that's the estate or the palace of the regime speaker. Something the regime speaker power anyway, yeah, leader one. But we're gonna speak on everything on the man infidelity, woman business. Hey, other speaker power, loose speaker, playboy speaker. Otello Ransegati, Batnutsville Junction, your residence, Sensi Kiazolu, Paris Slobart, New Jersey, USA, Hazate, Van Johnson, Bon County, Eugene Jobo, Capital Bapats, Boyman Obento Kiadi, Hotel Africa, Virginia, Stanley Bozo, Congress City, Tano Samson, Flexible General, Matthew Ondole, Gbagpolu County, Stephen Fowler, Gatnutsville Chicken Soup Factory, Amara Jala Kamara, Brussels, Belgium, Mervyn Mustafa, Sierra Leone, Maurice Kamara, Grand Cape County, Stephen Yakadi, District 2, Mangibi County, Philip Kura, Dubai, UAE, Bapin Paul Lee, Johnsonville, Nathan Bear, Kakata, that's Nathan Page, Cox City, Fifth Kelvin Bapin, Nima United, Prince Rhea, Kogwe Wida, Mangibi County, John Dolo, Christian Phoebe, Henry Tito Jr., Caldwell, Fatu Sharif. Yes, Fatu, we are good. We thank God for life. And thank you for the concern. Hope that you are faring well, Otto. Otto Junior, Morovia, David Colley, Jeremiah Labla, So Clinic Gaza, Sam Sigba, Willem Derry Wulu, Civil Rights Movement spokesperson, Caldwell, Emmanuel Giacu, all of you great people. Jukonti Chie, your business center. Hey, my dear John brother, Stephen Coker, good to have you on. Hope that everything is okay. Yes, and thank you so very much, man. Thank you so very much, Tico. Thank you so much. We are together. Yeah, we are one family. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Stephen Coker. And all of you great people. Rita Christine Hayes, Massachusetts, USA. My dear sister Orita Sonnewood Choir, hope that you are faring well. I know you are. Thank you for coming on. Hope that all is well from your end. And the chairman himself, Roman Rico, Kenneth Bohr, Latupan, the chairman, Block Titan Intellectual Center, Iron Factory. All of you great people, thank you. We appreciate you. Welcome. Let's have a wonderful time. We've got just 2 issues today, but let's get out of Liberia first. Just so you know, this grudge going to live for a long time. Unity Party is vexed. They are coming up with different things. The president is uncomfortable. I can report to you that the president had a meeting and he expressed his disappointment. When I say meeting, telephone conversation, I don't know whether he's back in the country, but our intel tells us that he hasn't been comfortable from the very first day the ruling came down, or the acquittal verdict. He hasn't been comfortable. He made a couple of telephone calls. One of those telephone calls went directly to the Minister of Justice, which the Minister of Justice also cannot deny. The president expressed his disappointment. Hold on, we'll discuss that and other things. The government is just bitter, and they are getting bitter by the day. Why Samuel Tweah is out? Their argument, Samuel Tweah should by now be in jail. And I told you yesterday the reason for that, because These acquittals put them in a disadvantaged position of convincing the people of anything, especially with 2029 just not too far. They wouldn't have a case on corruption. They wouldn't do anything. Hold on to that. Let's get out of Liberia briefly and see what is unfolding. A Nigerian court has sentenced former power minister Salah Mohammed to 75 years in prison for stealing about 1 million in public funds. Mama, who served under former President Muhammadu Buhari, was found guilty of fraud and money laundering in a case brought by Nigeria's anti-corruption agency, the EFCC. The court also ordered the seizure of foreign currencies and 4 properties in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, linked to him. Maman was convicted and sentenced in his absence after being declared wanted. The Constitutional Court of South Africa has ruled that rejected asylum seekers cannot reapply on the current law. It warned repeat claims risks a never-ending cycle, blocking deportation and straining the system. The case centered on 2 Burundians whose asylum claims were rejected in 2024. They applied in 2018, arguing that 2015 election violence had changed their circumstances. The Supreme Court of Appeal sided with them, but the Constitutional Court overturned that ruling. And a senior U.S. diplomat has urged South Sudan's leaders to take urgent steps to restore peace following a visit to Juba. According to a statement from the U.S. Embassy in South Sudan, State Department Bureau official Nick Checker called on leaders to pursue dialogue among all parties to the 2018 peace agreement. He said it was partial to claim meaningful inter-party dialogue was underway while First Vice President Riek Machar, a key signatory to the agreement, remains under arrest and on trial. Those are some of the events unfolding out of Liberia from the African perspective. So let's focus on what we've got now. I told you a few seconds ago that the government had not slept well. The government isn't sleeping well. President Buhari, though attending the Forward Summit in Kenya, but he kept conversation back home with his people here. And one of those persons, the president, had a conversation with his justice minister. He was brief on everything that unfolded, the acquittal of the man whom they had always wanted to be found guilty and put in jail so that they would justify their argument that, yes, the Weah government corrupted the system, the Weah government pillaged the coffers, the Weah government looted, the Weah government this, and so you see Samuel Tweah has been found guilty by the grand jury, and now he's in jail. That they wanted to use to justify their argument. Please note, we are just not far away from 2029. What you do now resonates into the years ahead of us. They will make no impact as per their campaign promise on corruption, because the people will look in their face and say, you lie on people. You have not won a single case. You have not convicted a single person. Your campaign on corruption is lazy. Hence, we will not listen to you. They want to take a campaign message into a message of corruption, winning the fight against corruption into the campaign, so that it gives them that spies that, yes, what President Boakai said was true. You see that the government convicted Samuel Tweah. The government convicted this person. The government convicted that. So when they are saying that now, or telling the people, yes, you know, we did this, we did that, Samuel Tweah was convicted, this person was convicted, that was the pledge made by President Boakai, that he will go after all the officials of the previous government who took money from the country, they did this, they did that, and all kinds of stuff. The president was uncomfortable. He spoke to his people. One of those individuals, according to our intel, his justice minister, and you will know that nobody he could speak to directly, but the legal man, the man who advises the president on legal matters, the justice minister. Before then, the Unity Party, some of Unity Party officials, they started to blast this justice minister in Samuel Tweah because he did not do as they had wanted. He did not take a partisan posture like the police director that has taken on a partisan posture, will go political into every gatherings, ensuring that what President Boakai has instructed him to do, he's doing it. Whether he should be neutral, whether he should be this, he should be that, he has no time. So they hung on him and started to blast him here and there, calling for his removal. The justice minister, since the announcement by the judge after the grand jury handed him their final decision, being uncomfortable, he started to worry. Samuel Tweah, if I bet you, let's assume that's not what we want. That's not what we want in any given way. It's up to him. But let's assume, for the discussion's sake, Samuel Tweah leaves the government and he sits in a given place. Samuel Tweah will open up to explain the pressure that he was under as justice minister in the government of President Boakai, how they dictated to him, how some of the officials cut off from him because he was not taking a partisan posture. He was not living up to their instruction to ensure that anybody associated with George Weah, as President Boakai instructed, go after. He had been having sleepless nights over the day. He hasn't been himself. He had been uncomfortable. The president here and the president talk. And then he opted to stay within the legal framework, even though his colleague on the other side, which Boakai is satisfied with, the man who concluded, who prejudiced the trial before it could even reach the end, because he was more political than legal. So Unity Party people did not have problem with him. They said, yes, this lawyer of ours, this Solicitor General in Augustine Fire is doing well. Because Augustine Fire said, the people took the money, they stole the money, they carried it to their houses, they eat it. Because he was sounding more political, he was more bombastic, he was sounding unruly legally, he was sounding more political. So Unity Party people were excited. That's why they did not hang on him, but rather they turned their anger against Samuel Tweah, because this man did not go from one radio station to another. He did not face the press and blasting every day and saying they ate the money. The poor carry the money to their houses. They ate the money like Augustine fire. This man.
If there's any difference, you always see it. But I think there's nothing different from what I told you before. What I told you before is the real statement. It's a statement of fact. Besides the claim he himself stood where he stood just now and said but it was under the national security. He, Arthur Johnson, said that he made the first interview. The interview was made right in front of the court there. That yeah, the people took the money, they used the money, but they used it for national security. And it was never used for national security. We maintain that money was never used for national security. They took the money, they stole the money in LA. They stole the money in LA for national security. We maintain that money was never used for national security. They took the money, they stole the money in LA for national security. We maintain that money was never used for national security. They took the money, they stole the money in LA. They stole the money in LA. So that's not a national security issue. That money was never used for national security. They took the money, they stole the money in LA. They stole the money in LA. So that's not a national security issue. They took the money, they stole the money in LA. They stole the money in LA. So that's not a national security issue.
Because Samuel Tweah did not tread the path as this man, so they say this may a compromise. Samuel Tweah compromise. They started to blast Samuel Tweah behind the scene. Our intel tells us that Samuel Tweah had not been comfortable over the days. He hasn't been comfortable over the days. Now, to give President Boakai something of a satisfaction, what did the Justice Minister do? The Justice Minister decided to give a news conference. In that news conference, the Justice Minister, from his countenance, you could sense the uneasiness, the blasting, the anger, the vexation, and the act to please President Boakai. The Justice Minister said that Tweah and the others did the act. They took the money. The difference between he and Augustine Fire, he did not say they took the money, they ate the money, they carried the money to their house. But he confirmed the same as the Solicitor General. Have a listen.
We strongly believe that evidence shows that the defendant was fired and concocted an elaborate and legal and unlawful scheme to defraud the state and the government. We strongly believe that evidence shows that the defendant was fired and concocted an elaborate and legal and unlawful scheme to defraud the state and the government. We strongly believe that evidence shows that the defendant was fired and concocted an elaborate and legal and unlawful scheme to defraud the state and the government. We strongly believe that evidence shows that the defendant was fired and concocted an elaborate and legal and unlawful scheme to defraud the state and the government. Let me reaffirm the President's unwavering commitment to the fight against corruption.
So what brought reaffirming the President's commitment to the fight against corruption? It is not the President's fight against corruption, but the President's resolve. I think that what he wanted to say, and since he stopped short of saying it that way, we know the President's fight against George Weah and his people. It is not the fight against corruption. A fight against corruption is holistic. A fight against corruption is never targeted. It is always holistic. If you look at the entire picture, they have focused on one name, one target. One name, one target. And because they cannot get to that one name, one target, they now use Samuel Tweah and said Samuel Tweah was the Minister of Finance. Samuel Tweah is a stalwart of the Congress for Democratic Change. Why it is true that the president is covered under our laws by setting immunity from prosecution and other things, this man, we will hold him to the core and then use him to justify our argument. The man said, the justice minister said, the people stole the money. Fire said, the people stole the money and carried it to the hall. They bought 8 money. The justice minister, in his press conference today, he said, they stole the money. Listen carefully to him again.
We strongly believe that evidence show that the defendant conspired and concocted and elaborate and legal in a lawful scheme to defraud and steal from the government library.
Stealing from the government library.
We strongly believe that evidence show that the defendant conspired and concocted and elaborate and legal in a lawful scheme to defraud and steal from the government library. Let me reaffirm the President's unwavering commitment to the fight against corruption. This trial was not an emotional, sentimental, or political project. It was a legal one. President Weah has made it clear from day one that his administration will support the independent work of the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission and the Ministry of Justice. That support is not contingent on winning every count of their indictment. It is based on a principle belief that the law must take its course wherever the evidence leads. This is the kind of leadership that God needs, and this is the leadership President Weah is providing. To those who are dissatisfied with the very cities.
When it came to the rest of the guys that were found guilty, hung verdict, and other issues, you could sense from him that we will do everything we can. This one, we will ensure, since we cannot take an appeal, I do not know, the legal people know, but we will press and something will come up that will bring Samuel Tweah back into this whole something. Simply put, we will use the rest of the guys who the court convicted or the jury convicted, something like a retrial, which we are about to hear. Then Samuel Tweah, because we will pursue some of them to link Samuel Tweah so that everything will go back anew off in the beginning, and then we'll find a way to hook the Samuel Tweah man and get him in jail. Have a listen on the 2 defendants.
Moving forward, the next step. The 2 defendants found guilty by the jury, that's the Unity Tweah and Mr. Joseph Kabul, filed a motion for new trial. Under our criminal procedure law, this motion has been filed within 4 days after the jury. We will be filing resistance to the motion for new trial. The judge will sign the motion for new trial for hearing. Thereafter, he will rule either denying or granting the motion for new trial. If the judge denies the motion for new trial, he will schedule a date for judgment and sentencing of the defendants. The ministry will make a vigorous submission to the court, arguing for sentences that reflect the gravity of the defendant's crimes and serve as a deterrent to future abuse of public office. The convicted defendant will have the right to appeal to the Supreme Court for review. As Mr. Sende as well, the case is not over. Because there was a hung jury or a deadlock jury, the judge will declare a mistrial letter to Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford will be retried with a new jury. The fight against corruption is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It asks for patience, resilience, and enduring faith in our institutions. The trial has tested all 3. So aspect of the verdict may disappoint us, but the bigger picture is clear. The bureau has shown resilience and enduring faith in our institutions.
Please listen carefully. He said, though the outcome of the outcome disappoint us or disappoint us, meaning it's not what we expected. We expected a guilty verdict. Instead, we're giving a legal bloody note. The jury smashed our noses, trashed our expectation. Listen to him.
The trial has tested all 3. So aspect of the verdict may disappoint us. Aspect of the verdict may disappoint us. May disappoint us. May disappoint us. they disappoint us, they disappoint us, they disappoint us. The aspect of the verdict, they disappoint us, 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 disappoint us, but the bigger picture is clear.
The aspect of the justice, meaning the outcome, may disappoint us, but the bigger picture is clear. We maintain, even though the jury handed down a non-guilty verdict, but we still maintain from our legal understanding, we too have an in-depth understanding of the law. We know that Samuel Tweah was not acquitted as per the law. Something happened somewhere. Why did he simply say he didn't want to concentrate and listen? The man under pressure. How can a justice minister give such a news conference? If you have the time, listen to the whole thing. At one point in time, he was confused. He didn't know what he was saying.
Now, Bureau has shown that this puts together a case of this magnitude. Now, Bureau has shown that former powerful officials are not beyond the reach of the law. We are building a new jurisprudence of accountability, one legal victory at a time. We learn from experience. We will move forward stronger, more determined, and more united than ever. Public trust, public service is sacred trust. Those who steal from the people will be pursued. They will be exposed, and sooner or later, they will face justice. That is my pledge for you today.
Yes, another thing he said in his news conference, that they need to review the file of that entire episode that led to Samuel Tweah acquittal. He said he has instructed the LHCC to provide all of the information whatsoever so that they go through it.
I have directed that the ministry, together with the LHCC, conduct a thorough internal review of every phase of this case, from the initial investigation through to the presentation of evidence in the selection of the jury. Accountability is not only for the accused, it is also for those of us entrusted with the power to prosecute. I want to take a few moments now to summarize that the ministry, together with the LHCC, directed that the ministry, together with the LHCC, conduct a thorough internal review of every phase of this case, from the initial investigation through to the presentation of evidence in the selection of the jury. Accountability is not only for the accused, it is also for those of us entrusted with the power to prosecute. I want to take a few moments now to summarize in plain language what this trial established as facts, regardless of the verdicts against individual defendants. First, the Financial Intelligence Agency, an institution designed to safeguard our blood financial system from money laundering and financing terrorism and corruption, was used as a conduit for public funds. The evidence shows that the FIA had never before been used to channel Social Security money. It was born the scheme by a letter written by a National Security Advisor, who is not the head of the Joint Security, on July 5, 2023. A letter that even senior members of the Joint Security, including the former Minister of National Defense and the former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, testified they knew nothing about. Second, the transfer of over $1 billion and $500,000 were done entirely outside the national budget. The Deputy Minister of Budget told the court that the transaction did not go through her office and did not follow any regular budget execution process. There was no legislative appropriation. We also established that there was no national security emergency to warrant such funding. The money simply moved on the instruction of the Minister of Finance from government accounts into the FIA operational account. Third, and most critically, once that money landed, it was withdrawn in cash by the FIA controller, Mr. Cooper. He signed checks, made payable to himself. He collected the cash. And for that moment, not a single receipt, not a single disbursement sheet, not a single credible witness are ever been produced to show where the money went.
Please listen further to the Justice Minister about to put his government in trouble. He's about to say, he's talking about how the money was moved, no trace of received, it was deliberate and all of those things, that if the government, that is the government, A national security institution receiving a dime from that government, it has to be known. So since he said accountability is not only to the accused, but the prosecutors, they who are in the space, he is simply saying that right now, a unity party government gave a dime to any security institution for whatever the situation, it should be known. And once it reaches to that level, nothing is classified, nothing is confidential. You can see that they are lying. The justice minister does not even know what he was saying. They didn't even know what he was saying. Rather, how can you come at this point in time to say this? You know what you're saying? I say this because a friend of mine who is in the security sector, I call him up before coming up, having listened to this part and asked him whether it was right. And his response was, no, the justice minister should not have said that part because others are going to capitalize on it. It's going to affect almost every security sector of the government, and it's going to lead to something else. What they refer to as classified, what they refer to as confidential, what they refer to, whichever way they refer to it as per their jargons, it's not going to be, it's going to be exposed, and the government is just going to be in shambles from a security perspective. And so I soon realized, truly, these guys are vexed because they did not get Samuel Tweah going to jail. Listen to him.
The evidence shows that between the period of September 11, 2023 and October 17, 2023, that's a period of 1 month, the total amount of $1,055,145 cash and $40 $1 was withdrawn by Mr. People. The evidence also showed that on September 22nd, for the FIA account with the CBL. And on that same day, the amount of US $500,000 for the CBL was transferred, it was withdrawn by Mr. Cooper. It's also been noted that during the trial, Mr. Cooper did not testify. The defense argued that the money was used for classified national security operation. But national security secrecy protects operational methods and sources. It does not and never will protect a simple account of where the public money went. You can tell us which legitimate security agency received funds without compromising the operation. The defendants failed to do.
You can tell us which security institution received without compromising. You can tell us which security institution received money without compromising. How is that? So you tell us now how many dollars you put into NSA from the budget. How many dollars million you put into this security agency. How many dollars you put into that? You got what he's saying? Listen to him carefully. There's one here, that security son in another legal thing.
Kind of where the public money went. You can tell us which legitimate security agency received funds without compromising the operation. Tell us which legitimate security agency received funds without compromising the operation. Tell us which legitimate security agency received funds without compromising the operation. Tell us which legitimate security agency received funds without compromising the operation. The defendants failed to do so, and they continue to fail. Moreover, classified secrets and information is for the protection and benefit of the government. Hence, when the same government granted the authority and right to publicly reveal its unclassified information, can you refuse to do so? This beats the imagination.
So, here is the second and last, and that's it. They've been finding ways. They came out with this stuff. They went to LACC and say, look, Alexandra Zoe, there's a case here about $21 million of XYZ. This man was Minister of Finance and Development Planning at the time, and that file is open. We need you to fast track that. You will have to summon this man, let him come and explain himself so that we can find a way to get this man to jail. Listen, no one is, Boakai is not fighting corruption. Buakai is fighting George Weah and officials of the Congress for Democratic Change. Look at Buakai's quote-unquote so-called fight against corruption. It is targeted at certain group of people. It is not holistic. Do you know that there is massive corruption under the very Buakai man's feet? Do you know that his own people are digging the sand under him? Do you know that they see him as a puppet of a president who is just obsessed with George Weah? So they use that now as a trump card to cover up, to blindfold him of the massive corruption all around him. Because he's obsessed with the name George Weah, he's obsessed with the people who work in Weah government to get in jail. Go back into history when President Buakai came to power. Who did you see Buakai go after? Who did you see Buakai go take to jail? Who did you see Buakai police rounding up to the extent that even the chairman of the party was ill-treated by Buakai police? Did you see Buakai going after the other people even though things were happening? Buakai fight is. He said, look, let's take the fight. Let's take this thing to the doorstep of George Weah. And if we can get to George Weah, all of his people around him, let's make sure we get at most 2 or 3. If we can get 2 or 3, this Samuel Tweah man is his main man. He was the man dealing with all of the papers and money and signing vouchers here and there. Let's make sure we get this man in jail. Buakai fight. The justice minister lie, and we can understand the justice minister position because he's working. Everybody in the executive works at the will and pleasure of the president. You do what the president wants. If you can, then you pack your bag and get out. And government job is sweet. Government job is lucrative. You get good money. You travel a lot. Just everything you can think of. All of the niceties of life. His address was primarily at Samuel Tweah because Buakai wants to see George Weah say, if we can get George Weah, and we can get George Weah, we will get his men around him. So they put pressure on the LACC. Councillor Alexandra Zoe got no option. They summer Tweah. Here is Tweah's response. Earlier today, he made it clear that he received reports that LACC wanted him to appear to answer to XYZ questions. And he said he hasn't received any communication. If he did, that would be through his lawyer, though. And then, just this afternoon, he confirmed receiving a communication from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. Not the Anti-Corruption Commission, but the Asset Recovery. The Asset Recovery, sorry, I kept saying Anti-Corruption Commission. Asset Recovery, but the Anti-Corruption Commission, there's also this claim of 121 million. That communication is there too. Yeah, what he said, but yeah, what he said today after receiving it, confirming the report that was in the grapevine. He said, I acknowledged receipt of your letter just transmitted 15 minutes ago. That was when I was coming on the air. 15 minutes ago, and I will formally respond. I have attached same for the public. I had already discussed this letter on my page in anticipation of what I described as a bogus investigation into the legal fulfillment of my responsibilities as Minister of Finance and Development Planning. The subsidies in question were lawfully paid after approval from the President of the Republic, His Excellency Dr. George Weah, and the National Legislature in consultation with the International Monetary Fund. I will appear in person at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, May 19th. That's the time they gave him, May 19th, along with my lawyer to answer any queries you may have into my responsibilities as the minister concerning this matter, and will thereafter address the nation at seal at around 3 p.m. on yet another failed and doomed attempt at politically witch hunting and targeting me, and on the borderline, and on the broader decline of governance and failures under the rescue government. So Tweah said, no problem, assets recovery, LACC, whatever, the recovery, the C, the U, the D, the B, the A, the whatever, you can come in your multitudes. I will face all of you people, and I will defeat all of you people pens down, and Joseph Yema Boaka will bow his head down, and he will fall down and confess that this thing here is just a grudge against George Weah and his people. So I say he's ready to face them. On the same day, according to him, as I just read, when he finished at 10 o'clock, he will move to seal to address the public on everything. Now, all the people, everything that happening, who you see the people after? When they say witch hunt, then Joseph Yuma Boaga, Justice Minister, Information Minister, all those people there, they say they're not true. It will not be true. That's true. Only one man. Only George Weah, CDC people. Then you say that witch hunt. People stealing in the very government. Corruption, the fight against corruption ought to be comprehensive. When it is targeted, when it is selective, then people know that you have been keeping grudge and you are only looking for an opportunity. So Tweah said, no problem. They thought Tweah was going to run away. Remember that Tweah was in Africa. Well, you guys said, no, I have to return. Tweah Lola scared me. Tweah, the entire United Party government, Tweah can face them, one or all of them together, all of them in group with Joseph Boaga standing in front of them. Tweah can beat all of them. Tweah can beat all of them. But they know the man. They know the man. The man has brains. I'm not comparing him with any other person, but we're talking his ability to deliver. That's why he's fearless. That's why he's not intimidated by whatever the government is doing. Thankfully, everybody knows that it is a targeted, selective fight against corruption. Let's go after George Weah people. We can get George Weah, but we'll get the people around him. And the political side of all of these. So they think that way they can weaken CDC. They can weaken George Weah. You can put Samuel Tweah in jail for 50 years. It will not stop Unity Party losing. You can put whoever in jail. The more Unity Party do against CDC, CDC number increases by 10, 15, 20. I told you yesterday, you just disguise yourself. I told you that's how we do. Disguise yourself, get in the midst of people. You come to realize how people are bitter with this government. How people are vexed. So much so that if they had the power to fast forward time, they will fast forward 2029 to flush Boaga out. The man himself is stealing. He's not above reproach. Look at Boaga. Look at Boaga's life. Look at Boaga's life. You think Boaga is perfect? You think the people around him perfect? It's just that in our country, when you're president, everybody think that you're immaculate. But he isn't. The very president who said no business as usual, the very president who said he's fighting corruption, the very president has never given a full public disclosure as part of good governance, transparency, and accountability of the expenditure of his office on the travels that he had been making. There is nothing, it is nothing classified, it is nothing confidential. I don't want to mention that message stuff that GAC came with, telling people that they audited the office of the president. The first time in the history, nobody knows that audit. The man using the taxpayers' money, he using your money all over the place. The woman is selling her coal, she paid tax. The man in a store, the woman on the market table, selling her lapa, the people carrying the goods, all of you people, you go to the place, LRA taking money from you. When you hear Double Jala say, we generated this amount of revenue, we generated this, that your money, that the money Boga using to travel all over the place. The law said the president office must tell the country how many dollars he used, as well as his officials. Have you seen Boga official ever made a public disclosure of all of the travels they made? Ellen brought that thing here. But it didn't last long. Because the people around her, they were eating real. The grease was hitting the airboat, so they did not want, they did all kinds of things. It died. But Ellen brought it. And some of the people, when they came back, they gave back the money. The DSA, which is daily service allowance, they'll go whatever remaining, the padam and other things, then whatever, they brought it back. I think a couple of individuals did it. Ellen herself, I think she attempted one time. I don't know how it worked out. At Boaka, it is a corruption. When you go up, when government official leaving, when representative leaving, going out of this place, that taxpayers' money they're using. When representative going, that taxpayers' money. When president leaving, vice president, speaker pro tem, that your money they're using. The law say they must give account under the CDC government. What they did, they had Costa and the other people to be digging behind the people. They will kind of say, oh, their money was taken. They used this money on travel. They cannot get account of this. They cannot get account of their money. That's what they were doing. They were exposing everything here. Today, none of them. So you want to say that the president is corrupt? Yes, he is corrupt as any other person. The president is not above corruption. Corruption is not the money that you take. Let me provide you a simple education. You Unity Party people. When you hear corruption, that's not the money that you take. Corruption is what you put in the mind, what you put here. The action is the outcome of the thought. So when the president ought to make disclosure and he refuses to make disclosure, where the president decided in the mind. So what is that? The mind is corrupt, that corruption. Everything starts from the mind. Everything starts from the mind. Whatever you decide, whatever you develop here, what the people see is the action is the outcome of what is decided. If you decide to do something wrong, if you decide to transgress, it's a corruption. A corruption. But you have the understanding when you take money, that corruption. So you're not taking money, you don't corrupt. Corruption, when the man in the house, it doesn't involve money, but he decides to do something out of the way, unprocedural. Once he puts it in his mind, he has already done that. What you will be saying is the outcome. That's corruption right there. Everything starts from the mind and ends with action. Who is clean? Who is clean in this space, in this political space? Who is clean? There's nobody in the executive clean. Nobody in the legislature clean. Nobody in the judiciary clean. Everybody is corrupting one way or the other. But because our president is vindictive, so he tells his people, you do everything you can to go after that man. Since we can't get that man, let's get the people around him. Let's get one or two of his people in jail. And he thinks it's going to happen. No one is against recovering what belongs to the country. But the way you go about doing it, the assets recovery. Clamante had a news conference. He said the assets recovery is not targeting certain people, it is comprehensive. They're going beyond 10 years ago, all kinds of stuff he was explaining as if that NOSCOR he was talking to, that they are the only educated people. How can you go, Weah appointed you to go after George Weah and people? You have a news conference and you say the assets recovery, our work extends beyond 10 years before today. Does that make sense? Does that sound to reason? So all the people that he has been calling, or the names he has been calling, you've heard any name other than the names of CDC people? So the justice minister got uncomfortable. He said, look, let me just give a news conference, man. Let me just say something to the people. Let me make the president to feel fine. So he called the news conference. The man was confused. Listen, if you listen to that whole something, you ask yourself, well, what also Tweah really meant? What he said? The man said nothing in that press conference. He said nothing. Nothing. He just closed with the president fight against corruption. After saying, oh, the people stole the money, he confirmed that the people stole the money. The court, he disagreed with the court. The court said, the juror said the man did not. He said, no, the boy stole the money. The boy ate the money. No different. The same thing his solicitor general said, that the same thing he said. So what there? Nothing extra. He wasn't forced to have that news conference today. But it is because, as what I've told you, is because of the pressure. He's under pressure from Unity Party people. Remember now, they say he is not a partisan. They say he is not a partisan. So they've been finding a way to ensure that he does what is right in their opinion and not what the law says. Today, nobody can say the law is the law. Nobody is excited. Have you heard Unity Party people saying the law is the law? No. Had Tweah been convicted, President Weah would have been the second or third or fourth person to address the public. You have heard the president praise the court for XYZ, upon anything. But because it did not happen, President Weah felt uncomfortable. The man was vexed. The news conference called by his justice minister today was not at the will and pleasure of the justice minister. The justice minister had no intent of calling a news conference today, but Weah telephoned him. They had a conversation and Weah expressed his disappointment of how everything went. Meaning, you feel we messed up. Listen to the reaction of the people. What can we say of corruption again? So your fine way. Let's make sure that something is done. That's why assets recovery now. So Samuel Tweah, there one man, one name, the government fighting one man They can't get to George Weah. They can't get to George Weah. And they will never have to get to George Weah. And the last thing they will ever attempt in their life is to get to George Weah. So, the only Tweah, the entire wall of Unity Party got sad, vexed, angry, bitter. Why? This man. Because they've already printed the t-shirts. They already, do you know that? They already printed the t-shirts. The same thing those guys did at the legislature when the majority bloc decided to let it go. And then they had a makeshift something to satisfy Joseph Boaga and he made Richard Kuhn. They say, oh, yeah, election. So you won. Then they printed a t-shirt. What they have on it, they say, rule of law. The Unity Party officials within the executive, they have printed t-shirts. The people were getting ready to celebrate. Amen. Do you know? Just take your time, look at it. There is, I can equate this to the 144,000 sealed evangelists. Let me put it in a political context. Why Unity Party people were willing to celebrate? The two witnesses, according to John, they're going to take on the whole war. They're going to face the whole war. And in that process, they will be killed. And what they will be doing is what you see today. Face people, tell them the truth, defeat them. And the people in return will be hoping that the two witnesses die so that they will celebrate. In this case, the multitude, Unity Party, the witness here, Samuel Tweah, they according to the line, they will celebrate. I'm telling you, I'm saying it in a reversal. They will celebrate because of what they would attempt. They will not defeat the two witnesses. They will hit them hard. They will do a lot more. So when they are subdued, they say they will celebrate. They will have party. They will print t-shirts. They will call people so that they will celebrate and say, these people that were giving us hard time, these gentlemen, thank God they know more. That's what Unity Party people wanted to do. That let's get this man in jail. But the time, if that thing had just come that Friday, and say, this one, Samuel Tweah, this, guilty. This, Samuel Tweah, guilty. Guilty on this, guilty on that, guilty on all. My man, ayaka. God, listen. People were going to get hurt. Unity Party people were going to get hurt. Unity Party people were going to die. Those guys were willing to celebrate. The people printed t-shirts. They were only waiting for the judge to read the jury verdict. Guilty. You're going to see. Because it did not go the way they have wanted. Samuel Tweah spoiled the party. The guy say, "Win giver." Just as you see, Unity Party people, they have the characteristic of Satan. Satan, two core characteristics he has. He persistent and he consistent. He never gives up. And you see it in a political context, they didn't give up. Since we did not get guilty verdict from the jurors on Friday, LACC brings something against this man. Access Recovery brings something. If he escapes These two institutions, then we know that he's strong. Only one man, can you imagine? One man versus the entire government. The entire government of Joseph Yuma Boaga fighting one man, one name. How powerful is Samuel Tweah? Samuel Tweah is powerful. Samuel Tweah is powerful. One man is facing an entire government. And they have not the might in terms of the standard of a might. They have the money. They have the people. They can concord. They can do every other thing. But the intellect to drive your way through by exoneration, they don't have it. Because they are overwhelmed with grudge. So Samuel Tweah is evading them. He's getting into their territory. He's moving. He's dribbling them through here and there. He is the political mercy against Unity Party. He's dazzling his way through between them. They're fighting to catch him, to bring him down. He's drilling them with ease. One man. What a shame. What a disgrace. One man, the government is after one man. Only because that man served as finance minister in the government of the Congress of Democratic Change. Hence, he should come down because we can't get to George Weah. That's all. So Boaga goes, he made public statement fighting against corruption. You know that the most corrupt person is the one who presents himself as clean. Look at all of his people all over the place. We're seeing the things we know. What in the country can have? Nothing in the country can have. CDC people were building here and there, they were hiding. They didn't want people to know. But what happened? The very people in the community, they say, oh, that man building a hole, he can only come in the nail. That woman building a hole, they're working in the government, they can come in the nail. They can come in the nail to see them to go. And that the same thing happening with Unity Party people. But Boaga can never, ever defeat corruption. No. He's only vindictive and he's going after the CDC. He's witch hunting. He's witch hunting. This is witch hunt. If anybody would believe that Boaga is fighting corruption, that is a lie. He's not. He's witch hunting. He's witch hunting. The man has an intrinsic grudge. Look at Joseph Boaga. Joseph Boaga has an intrinsic grudge. The man lives with grudge. You can see that the 3 Ds of Satan, you see it in Joseph Boaga. The 3 Ds. If you know the 3 Ds of Satan, go in Revelation, you see the 3 Ds. 3 Ds. 1 D, 2 D, 3. 3 Ds of Satan. The 3 Ds, you see it in Boaga. Every time Boaga speaks, Boaga will throw talk. But thank God, I like how we are subduing these few days. He will not go around be speaking parable all over the place. What kind of president just speak parable everywhere you go? You parable. You think that you sounding normal. You think that you are sound. No, it just means you're just saying that you are archaic. You are archaic. You are out of modernity. Even if Jesus Christ come back to earth now, Jesus Christ can speak parable again because he will know that the generation that existed for that existed. It's not for today. I see you over here. I see you. Yeah, man. Okay. So what is this thing, man? What is this thing about Oh, Greg, come on, Nancy, appointment. Boaga police director, Unity Party police director. The man announcing that he get new portfolio. He said, I am honored and humble to announce that I have been appointed co-chair of the International Affairs Committee of the International Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. Noble for sure. Greg. Grego. Boy, enjoy a police bar. Yeah. Lucky. They all kinds of things to get Abraham Kurman. Or I wonder Boaga to send AB Kurman to that police station too. So he Gregory Kurman clash. So what is this thing about this lady, Councillor Mariah Yakula? Been saying all kinds of stuff, people saying all kinds of things. Unity Party, man, chats, rebels, just going personal with the woman. But again, when you're in the public space, a little thing people capitalize on, a social media picks it up and run. That's why you have to be careful. You see, we who are realistic with this government, we aren't critical. We are realistic with the government because we tell the truth. But the government wouldn't see our realism as anything of helping the country, helping them. They see us as anti. So a little thing happen, forget it. Oh, they're going to run with AI. They can't seven people, say Matthew, Israel, teach your lie. That's why we're very careful. We're very careful because the space within, you have to be careful with yourself. These people are just looking for opportunity to damage you. I've been seeing these things about this lady. I don't know the details, but I just hope that she can get out of it. She's on our side. She is an opposition figure. Don't join Unity Party people and other people to mock her, to say all kinds of things. Again, I do not know the detail because I've not been following that. I've just been seeing a couple of read outs on Facebook, people saying this, people saying that. ANC people come to with clarification that she is not the COS to Alexander Cummings. At the end of 2023 election, she moved on to another portfolio. She manages the legal affairs department of the party, and she has this other position. She was dismissed from her position, and a lot more, all kinds of write out on social media. But please, you don't join those Unity Party people. It is my understanding that this lady, Mariah Yakula, had been very critical of the government realistically. And her writings have been very painful to Unity Party people. Her writings has been she knows how to pin, just like Teacher Light would do on Facebook. She knows how to put an idea across that will go into the soul, the bone, marrow, flesh, skin of Unity Party. She had always caused upset. And she's historical. She's historical. She reminds Unity Party people of their past. Whenever they did something or said something, she would go into history and bring what they said when they were in opposition against the Congress of Democratic Change, against George Weah. She would bring it out. She would remind them. Not only would she talk, but she would post what they said, and they will read their own right out. She kept on reminding them of what they did in the past, and they don't want any of that to happen today. She had been very consistent, very critical. I think they said something of a video. I saw one Unity Party person came out and how he would put the video out and people begging him and say, Chief, listen, if you man enough of Unity Party, put it up, that your own Unity Party people will carry you to jail. And not only that, we will make sure that your entire family is arrested. We'll do everything we can. So if you think you unity party enough, put a video outside and you say you get video. That people wasting their time begging you on Facebook, don't put it up, don't do that, don't do that. Though I don't follow those kinds of things, so I don't waste my time to write on it. But she's one of us. Please, if you are an opposition person, don't go the way of unity party people. Don't say all kinds of things against her. She is an asset to the opposition. We need everybody going into 2029. There's no time to join unity party people to be mugging our people here and there. What Mariah is going through, I do not know. I have no idea whatsoever. I have only been reading by skimming, jumping from one line to another, because people saying this people saying that, but I have no idea, not the least, of how it started, what it is, whether it is truly hard or someone try implicating her to damage her reputation. I do not know. But I feel obligated to empathize, sympathize with her, and encourage the rest of the people to prop her up, those who know, and not to mock her, not to say all manner of things against us, against her, because she's part of us. She is an asset in the opposition. Been following her right out, her position. Unity Party people, they are happy because the woman had been very truthful, very truthful. Remember now, they say the truth hurt. Meaning, if you did something against a person and it is your time to receive that hurt, and people say, yes, you ought to receive it because you did it at true ready. So just accept it. So when she brings out the truth, that's the reason I'm saying it this way. They never deny anything she brought out against them. She never denied it. So with this that came out, they took it now as a political weapon and saying all manner of things against her. Again, please, I do not know the genesis of it, but I have been seeing all kinds of people saying this, people saying that. What I can say is she is a member of the opposition. Do not join those people who are saying all manner of things against her. When something comes against them, awful, they wouldn't want anybody to condemn, to spread it, to say all kinds of things. Do you know, and have you observed, that they are not saying that privacy, that the person privacy, because she is an opposition person. If it was a unity party woman, you have heard that person privacy, or the this and that, or the culture, or all kinds of messy things they will be saying all over the place. Please, I beg you, my opposition people, you don't join them, yeah? You don't join them. All right. So that's it. That's it. So let's go. Let's go to the line. Let's take a few calls, and that will be doing it for the day. Before then, let's read some of the comments. Then we turn to the line. Tano Samson. Tano Samson. Tano Samson said, Omen Boakai been wicked long time. Long time, President Weah. Been wicked long time. David and they had packed their jeep and armed men to escort him to prison. Let us not forget that this battle is not ours or Tweah, but the Lord. Yes, that's true. They had communicated, David. They had communicated. The police force was set. They had everything in place. They had everything in place. The plan was as soon as they brought down a guilty verdict, then the police would move in. They had a team strategically positioned. Not those guys you saw fanning around the police or around the police, the court, sorry. Not those police officers you saw fanning around. They're there manning the area, even though they were there for that principally to prevent any, if there'll be any riot. But they had a team already set to have moved in immediately, well armed, fortified, had the code, because their understanding was, oh, CDC people going to go there to cause trouble and all that kind of stuff. So they had a team in place to move in immediately, barricade that place, get Tweah in, bam. Yeah, but it did not work. The plan did not work. The president is vexed. United Party people vexed. Emmanuel Broad said quite obviously, the president is very corrupt person, and then he is pretending to be fighting corruption. What a sad irony. He and his government will do whatever they want, but fortunately, they won't be able to entrap Samuel Tweah because, in all accounts, Tweah is logically and intellectually smarter than all of them. Cecilia Yakpawulo writes, Bouaka is corrupt to the extent he got in power a few weeks. He started building, building bulletproof house to his village. Man, let go life. Yeah. When you're suffering, you can want to do desire. Desire is desire when it's supported by money. But the desire is there. So you'll be hoping. But again, the hope goes with action. But the action is also supported by money. What I'm saying, if you look at Bouaka in opposition, Bouaka was struggling. Things were bad off. Bouaka had always wanted a good life. So the desire to have a good life was there. But the money was not available to support that good desire. What you see today, the money is there. So you see Bouaka. The very United Party people that used to be complaining, George Weah convert long, President Weah convert long. Look at Bouaka. Ellen never used motorbikes. Weah never used motorbike. Look at Bouaka. Bouaka using bike. The motorbike, you see the escort, the four. 2 in front, 2 on the side, 2 behind, 2, 1 in front. Who ain't want good life? But as wicked as he is, so the boss say enjoy. Yeah? And you see him today, and you see Bouaka, you see the man convert. You see, yesterday, the people, we are convert too long. The president convert too long. Yeah, look at Bouaka convert today. Look at Bouaka convert. What presidents did not do? That's what he's doing. He boss Ellen. We saw Ellen. Ellen never used motorbikes. George Weah didn't. Look at Bouaka. Man, they say, Mr. President, you gotta enjoy. You gotta look presidential. Even though he isn't presidential, they try to make him presidential, but he isn't presidential. What that means is he does not have the personality of a president. But look at Bouaka. Look at the man walking like stingray. Got a man, I can't wait. All day here, what kind of president here? You're in one packet. You can't come outside. You know, he won't try to look flexible, but it's hard. He passed that stage of looking flexible. So that presidential nature isn't there. Yesterday, they were condemning everything. They say, oh, Joe, we have feet swallow. They make him wear shoes. They make him wear this. Look at Boga. Who else? Gabriel West said, let the justice minister tell the Liberian people where the money being used for their FOIA project is coming from and what budget line in the budget shows that. That justice minister is confused from the pressure he's currently undergoing. He is talking nonsense. I mean, he told nothing that made sense today. He just gave that news conference because the president wasn't satisfied with how everything went. Boga was waiting to receive guilty verdict news. Just as they hold the dog for Joseph, he jumped over it. They see where they hold the dog for Samuel Tweah. He jumped over it. Let's go. Real Talk Kings 88.5. Wednesday, midweek, the 13th day of May 2026. We gradually headed to the end of this year, and then it's 2026, and then election fever will be all over the place. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 9803 75. The numbers there. Where is the veteran? Let's listen to the veteran lawyer. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 9802 75. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Andrews.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Thank you very much. Mr. Andrew, thank you very much for these, your pointers. Mr. Andrew, I'm Mohammed, and I call from Town Coast Hill, Winter Community, and a member of the Concerned Liberia for Justice. It's in my mind, the Justice Minister is having a sleepless night. And I think the Justice Minister is somehow confused, and he does not know what to say. So he has the under pressure. Look at what the Justice Minister said. Look at how he presented himself today. Look at his countenance. In my mind, the Justice Minister is under pressure. That's why he came to save face today. But the fact is, Samuel Tweah are giving them bloody nose and nothing they can do to reverse this decision from the Supreme Court. Other guys who are saying around here that the retrial was going to try or Samuel Tweah, I don't know what their next decision. But in my mind, Mr. Andrews, this government ascended to power on the mattress of lies and deception and fakery. This is another fakery. If Dramati cannot convict Gracious Ride for almost 3 years, what can they do to Samuel Tweah, who has every document to prove? Let them stop the vision, face the country, you promise the Liberian people you will create jobs, create our job, and start going after something that you will never have been defeated. Thank you very much. The fact is, Tweah remains supreme. Tweah know what he did, and he will be exonerated. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. The official spokesperson for the Liberian Civil Rights Movement, William W. joining for Caldwell. So let me say thank you so much. You know, what you say, everything that you say is true. I know you need people, I know what they really want to prove. Are they for the corruption or which one? You know why you guys to say this? Why we are seeing the same? Because you can't do the days. Even the NSCC, they actually recover when you do all that thing, they'll fail to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has brought it down. I got something to it that he's not guilty. So why anything you want to do again? Then why they want to do? Then there's something else that they can do. That this country is going beyond. This is our resources they are using. And you said one thing, then you use it on the other way around. This man, I got the poor body that is not guilty. So why are you fighting again? What do you want to do? I did not go to after recovery or SCC before bringing them to Supreme Court. So therefore, they are going to be unfair. Therefore, the Boga start doing that. You are an old man. I think you know things better. Let us think the other way around. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you too. I have a nice day. 0772 23 99 33 0886 4497 077798037 Yeah, just few calls, and then we move on to Weah returns to the presidency 2029. They think that it is impossible. They think that it is not going to happen, but there is every possibility for that. There is no doubt. Nothing is going to stop that. It is. There's every possibility. Hello.
Sir.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm okay. This is Edmund Carr. I'm the trading player that is pushing for a return President Weah, prime member of concern Liberian for justice. You know, I don't know. This government is trying to tell us that our government was just supposed to be there, collect all the money, and then save it in the bank. Then when the Unity Party government comes to power, they start to utilize them. Because I don't understand. Every money, every cent, they will go for it, they trace the information, they put the information differently and throw it to their people. They'll be running with it as if anything wrong ever happened. And they thanks be to God that they were able to validate our argument. Because on the genesis of this whole thing, we have been saying it's not about fighting corruption, but it is about which one. They have been saying, oh no, that's not true. But it is clear now. Because at the end of the ruling on Friday, you start seeing the Unity Party people upstairs go, oh, 21 million, 25 million. Then here we are seeing access security or whatsoever calling Samuel Tweah for questioning. So they have validated our argument. The money that you're talking about, if the international community could give that money for that purpose, then it was utilized. If at all it was not properly utilized, why were you even giving chance for another credit opportunity for the very IMF money that you're claiming that we may use the money? But we will be there, and God be on our side. We will be there done. Like you said, we know who they are after. They are after President Weah, but that's the last thing that they will get. So we are not going to allow them to do so. We're going to continue to be on our knee and engage in it the right way, making sure that all our people are vindicated. Thank you.
Thank you too. Have a nice day, Mr. Carr. Yes. That's true. Very, very true. They can. They can. They try the best they can. They're not gaining. Things not working in their favor. The Justice Minister said they should review the case file from the very first day till the selection of the jurors. And things just not working as the way they had wanted. So they confused. Asset recovery, Clamartin, who Clamartin is not a help. He hasn't been a help. I don't think he can really do anything of a difference. Clamartin had not been successful. If you have an understanding of his work, he hasn't been. He was given that responsibility. President Weah handed that responsibility to him during his government. He wasn't successful in it. He will make political speeches here and there. We're going all out. Why you're here, Clamartin, saying about finding all, they are speaking with this government, they have this, they have that, they enter extradition treaty. Then nothing new. If you have been following Clamartin, or if you people have not been following me, there is nothing new. The same thing he said in Weah government. The man is just good at making public announcement. The man is very good at that. Very good. Hello.
Andrew?
Yes.
You got anything, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, I called them my point, but they block an issue, they Samuel Tweah issue. And he says, I'm calling from Brazil. Yeah, what I want to say that Baka must have wish on other people. You call Baka said a rule. Baka except or offer $10 million horse in Lofa. You say, you know nothing about it. The next time he wanted to go look at the project. So now I put on a spirit. So Baka said a rule. Then you start wish on the job and the official.
But I want
Baka. He has a bigger role here. Of government, get a role that you leave for a room. He kind of wish on people. He's saying you are the alternative for the country. Then you do what he's all do and start wish on people. They will not even get Samuel to answer what they do. They will always receive blooded nose. Thank you.
All right. Have a nice day. That one, the man said I play for ECOWAS. What I say, not his personal house. He said for ECOWAS. Hello?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, this is Ever Council, Papa.
Let's hear you.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether the papi thinks the country that his wife, whether he think the country for him, the Clamanting and the other councillor, whether they say you are the team for Louis Arthur Grant, they don't want disgracing themselves. Therefore, hatred. Their business sorrowful. It's sorrowful. What is disgracing themselves for? They will break tomorrow. You think when they move from e-power, they will be there? They will say the same thing that they're facing. The person will not, will not do it for hate. God will follow the Lord because we know how they're stealing their money. Yeah, now no water in town. What are e-power for?
No water in your area?
What we get water from? No pump water.
But more Ali installing the pipes now all over the place.
Okay. That now you ready to install. You say you got power with the big money we're making. You get after to see all that money that you put in your pocket and we're looking at them.
They say you're buying water 3 bags for $5.
Yeah. What is $5? You see what they say when you get water, as they man when you go for 3 or 4 years, you drink 30 water and say, well, thank you. But it will not be our portion. They will fall into their own trap. Or we will hunting people. What them have is that they country for them.
Okay.
They country for them.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Papa.
Hello?
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Peter, I'm for justice, concern la première for justice. Andrew, thank you very much. Andrew, Mr. Bwakana can't go on the country to better the Liberian people as in clean that in coming to better the people that person. We are not doing well for the Liberian people. They make an impact for wish hunting. We've been talking to people every day. We've been talking today. Thank God the whole world they are watching and they are all supporters for negative. Angry. They want Samuel Tweah because they were in opposition. Samuel Tweah that they are attacking because the men were holding the incumbent former president. We are there because they want for president. We are to file the men. They're not listening to them. Samuel Tweah quarrel. They want for president. We are to men for a government to collapse. They may not listen to them. Today they come to power. Samuel Tweah. They work at one city and give it a worker. They work passing around from plane to plane. You see how to pay your money, not giving no result. We're suffering on the men. You see, they put on talking the Samuel Tweah. But let me tell you, the Palestinians, you will force Samuel Tweah, but you will not succeed. They fight when you carry to the court. You see the best brother, your going to your point teacher as the people clean that you're coming for corruption and you're wishing we are government official. Come. Turn it to the 9. They think that we see that people have resolved. Come turn it to the 9. They will plot your all. They're not come to go on the country. You come for which one thing. Thank you very much.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sam Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and Peter W. Council, I call from under the street light in Lower Johnsonville, a member of the Concerned Library for Justice. You know, Mr. Sam Andrew, I think this government has totally failed the Liberian people. You need to focus on service deliverable than attacking personality. It's not going to help them function it on it now. Community, a bag of water is and at $10, and the expectation is it may likely go to $15 to $20. So I don't know what are these guys thinking in this particular naivety way? Who is advancing just like Imam Bwaka? You carry Samuel Tweah to go for 6.2 billion and may flock you face down. 5% of Samuel Tweah's brain is more than the entire government. You cannot fight. And it's suspect. That's the reality. Can't carry the man to a mentally depleted man called Clamartin. What Clamartin will do to Samuel Tweah? And the realities are there. The man has already articulated. And in fact, what is fair to understand, nothing they can tell us about corruption again, we are government again, and then the Liberian people listen to them. That's the reality. No, and then we are officials. You carry them to court again as the issue. On the issue of corruption, no Liberian will listen to you just like about Bwaka and your coalition government. So don't forget about we are a government and focus on the promises that you give to the Liberian people. Today, our economy is in shambles. You are not concentrating on that. You are concentrating on Samuel Tweah. Even if you incarcerate Samuel Tweah, would that make you to win come 2029? It's not going to happen.
All right, Chief. Thank you.
Most of the people that even voted for you today, they are very much frustrated and disenchanted. Are you not thinking on that?
Thank you, sir.
Your action against Samuel Tweah is not going to yield any fruit. Samuel Tweah will continue to be.
Thank you, Chief. Have a nice day. Let's go back to the women's line. President Bwaka, his officer, he's coming into the country later this evening. He will come to get parable again. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Patient great calling for to go in the morning concern Library for Justice. Mr. Andrew, I want men for up brush to the point, keep up with the government. You know why the women, anywhere they go, they can get money? Because they're spending taxpayer money. They're spending taxpayer money. What really happened between Bwaka and Samuel Tweah? But all for them are putting there. What really happened between Bwaka and Samuel Tweah? Mr. Andrew, sometimes you're the general, you go to Samuel Tweah, you're really in the dream. What really happened between them and Bwaka now? But all for Bwaka are putting them in jail.
What? But were they together before?
Maybe sorry, where if Bwaka have for them man?
But Becky, they were together. To say that it means that you no boy.
To the other case, Mr. Andrew, they was fight taxpayer money, and I know that the other case again they will be vindicated. Nothing will get on the people. They won't hear that Samuel Tweah. They won't hear that Samuel Tweah.
They're wasting their own time. Time is going against them. The election here coming small.
I know when Bwaka go to city, he had job or Samuel Tweah when we got the case and start, different case and start. I really know, Mr. Andrew, we got to call the prophet from Nigeria again. Ask them, they get a bottom prophet for the 3 years. You got the government, nothing will come out of them.
All right, patience. All right, thank you. Have a nice day. Hello. Hello. You are on the air, Chief.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Olano Wama, I call you from Tipuro. Yes, my concern have been doing to what all happened in the government. But the matter is that we're not saying is that that's the way to go. As long as we are praying that the return to be fine, let us put mechanism into place that the return will be fine. That should be our forcing point. Let the return be fine. Because if the return it doesn't mean that will not be heard. That is, if we don't win at the end of the day now, it will all come up. Forever win, all the things that we're saying, it will not be successful. So that's let me that's quite hard and this is what thank you.
Thank you too. Have a nice day. Great. So President Bwaka office said he's coming back from Kenya this evening. This evening, he will be in the country. His office said he's coming back this evening. Again, he will give parable. You expect another parable from the parable in chief president. JB. But coming to give another parable. His office say you arrive in the country this week. Yeah, this week. Let's have a listen, man, to the man who is giving Augustine Fire a hard time. Try over TV, try over Facebook. Let's listen to the man.
Let me make something very quick and clear. The last time the Solicitor General came here and told you people that the defendants in this case are confessed to the crime, that is a lie. It's not true. No one confessed to a crime. There is a difference between confession to criminality, and making a point. Confession to the crime means the man is admitting to the crimes in the indictment that he committed the offense. That is not the case. What happened in this case is that there is a statutory function, or there were statutory functions that were carried out by the former Minister of Finance. That is under section 14.2 of the Public Finance Law. The law says that the Minister of Finance has the authority, statutory authority, to authorize payments that have been recommended by any of the branches of government within the budget, or authorized within the budgetary laws of Liberia. And that is exactly what the Minister of Finance have done. And that payment was made to the appropriate administrative agency that was authorized at the level of the National Security Council by the President of Liberia at the time, His Excellency George Weah. And so on the basis of this, no one should criminalize when the Solicitor General comes out and says that was confession. That's not confession. Confession is all of the allegations that have been made. Yes, we agree, we the one committed. No, there was no crime here. There was a statutory function that was carried out, and it had been criminalized. So we want to make that clear. If the Solicitor General agrees with what he said the last time, that the defendants are confessed to the crime, then why are we selecting jurors? So that is to tell you that what the Justice Minister was intending to do at the time, we call it trial by TV and trial by Facebook. The perception is to get the perception of the sentiments of potential jurors who will be coming to come with the cloud of the mind to say that if you owe the people are confessed to the crime. There is no confession to crime. If there was confession to crime, we will not select jurors. Today, there will be a date of sentencing. So that's not true. There was no criminality, and we still want to reiterate that the action of these defendants was a national action. The actions of the defendants were national security actions and responsibilities that were carried out. Those actions that were carried out were statutory functions that were responsible to keep the stability of this country during the period of the elections. The peace we enjoy today was based on the statutory expression of the mandate of the finance minister being authorized by the National Security Council, which exists within the office of the president. That's the character we wanted to make. The judge ascribed unto himself an authority that he doesn't have. When specific provisions of the Constitution are raised as subject matter of discussion in a trial, a court of limited jurisdiction, specifically a trial court, does not have the authority to interpret the Constitution. That authority is ascribed to the full bench of the Honorable Supreme Court. So today, the judge had indeed agreed that the former officials of government are immune from any criminal prosecution or judicial inquiry for acts committed or acts carried out while serving as members and statutory members of the National Security Council and principal advisors and agents of the presidency. That immunity of the president that extends to the advisors of the president and the agent, that immunity can never be subjected to judicial review in a court of law. The courts shall refrain from conducting inquiry on the basis that any attempt will compromise national security. In fact, it's on the other way around. Why we should be protecting the protection of national secrecy
I see the government proceeding to expose national security operations, especially about expenditure during elections to keep this country safe from threats to the elections. It's left with the wisdom of the judge. The next thing is the defendants, the former ministers of the former officials of government cannot stand trial. Why? Under the due process clause that we have in fact, our cases like the Wallow versus Wallow, the landmark case on due process, before you are convicted, you have the right to question the witnesses, to produce evidence in your favor in order to what? Exonerate yourself. These officials are prohibited by law not to defend themselves. And what is the law? The National Security and Reform Act, Intelligence Act of 2011 says, as long as they are alive until 20 years, even if they go for trial and they take the witness and to testify about how they expended the money, when they come outside, the NSA will arrest them also, because they have breached national security intelligence operation. That's why you take up on the level at the level of the National Security Council. The judge erred, and in fact, the ruling went beyond. The team will discuss that. But what we know is that the law already gives us the authority to go on the remedial process when the judge had made a decision, especially on the issue of authority, that he has gone beyond his authority. The judge, the trial court, has no authority. And that is a standard established by the Honorable Supreme Court by years of horror with age, that whenever constitutional issues are squarely raised, no court of law has the authority to determine and pass unconstitutional arguments beside the full bench of the Supreme Court. On Article 61, I talked about immunity of the president. 61. No, it's 61. It's 61. It's not 51. It's not 51. It's 61. Under Article 61 of the Constitution, the president is immune from all prosecution. The only time the president is not immune from prosecution, it must be certified by condition precedent. What are those conditions precedent? The condition precedents are the president must first be impeached and removed. Any leader in this country who has now been impeached and removed, every act or acts that he conducted or carried out or he assigned to his agents while serving as president, that extension of immunity covers them, and you cannot question those agents. This is the argument before the Supreme Court that will soon be appearing. Whether or not an agent or an advisor of the president serving at the level of the National Security Council, which they are creating the National Security Council, prohibits him, that you cannot take the stand to testify on national security matters that have not been declassified. As we speak, the expenditure of the former government to maintain a peaceful transition, to divert and abort the threats to national security and the elections of 2023, the government presently has never declassified that information. Any of these officials who comes to court and to testify how that money was expended, who the agent that received it, and what area they assigned the agents for what purpose, they will go to jail.
Let's go home this way. Again, be reminded, President Weah's office said he's coming into the country this evening from Kenya. He will be in the country this evening, and then the journalists have selected to ask him questions. Will ask what they usually do. The journalists are not allowed to ask the questions all by themselves. Let me just give you an understanding of what they decided, because they know that over the time he embarrassed himself, or many times President Weah embarrassed himself. They know that he's not really good at answering questions, especially giving straitjacket questions. Most of his responses led to something else. You can pick up anything of, say, yet realistic statement, no. So to avoid all of those, what they've decided, I'm saying this to you so you know that when you hear certain questions or the way the questions go, it's not the journalist, it's not the journalist's own. Like the president is coming and this journalist is there and the journalist said there's this issue, so I will ask the president this. No, the people, they want to know. So what they've decided at the executive mansion point to avoid embarrassment, they will draw the question. Kula Fofana and her people will draw the question. They select the journalists that will ask the president that question, or those questions. They will give it, and they will brief the president ahead of meeting the journalists that, Mr. President, you will take 3 questions from the media, and these are the questions that they're going to ask you XYZ on this and that. So the president is ready. If you have been following his return to the country, the addresses or the questions that have been going to him, they organize it. And sometimes he forgets. If the most recent was an embarrassing one. You saw what they did? They tried whisking him off and say, it's okay, because the way he answered the question, they felt it was an embarrassing. He should not have gone that way. So he's coming back into the country. Please, I want you to watch him carefully. This time around, he's going to avoid being more parabolic, avoid giving parable, because the backlashes he received from his dog parable, in which he referred to his fellow citizens as dogs. So I believe that he's going to be strict, and the question going to be between 1, 2. So that's it. Just so you know, Mr. President is coming back. Now, George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Let's hammer this in Unity Party people ears. Let's inject this in their blood, passing through their veins. Whether they feel comfortable or not, but it is what they ought to hear. We are campaigning indirectly, just as Unity Party is campaigning indirectly. We're not mixing our words on anything. We're not missing out or delaying on any opportunity for Weah's return to the presidency. Again, I should say this. There wasn't a setback. Do not go with that statement, turning setback into comeback. The person who developed that idea didn't sit down to actually reason it out. We can understand the sentiment and the readiness of the people politically to receive. So they took on that expression, turning setback into comeback. It sounded pleasant in the ears of the people, fine, but it did not bring out the good reasoning aspect. Don't use that expression anyway if you are in the opposition, if you are a sedition. Don't use that expression, turning setback into comeback. Again, a simple education or reasoning. Turning setback is an admittance of failure, delay. Turning setback into comeback is an admittance that you blunder, that you achieve nothing. Setback simply means failure. It means unachieved responsibility. You didn't achieve. You had everything not working because you did not visualize anything. If you ever had a vision, it was a visionless vision. The word is used in the negative. Setback means failure. It means delay. It means unaccomplished. It means unachieved. It means you just did not achieve what you have set out to achieve. So you want the time that you wasted achieving nothing to achieve something now. That cannot be used for George Weah. Don't use that expression, turning setback into comeback. If you don't believe me, sit down carefully, in quietude, and look at it for yourself. Reason it out. If you have the time to do, look up the word setback from every angle. It would not give you anything positive. Setback is the same as the word tribulation. Tribulation has nothing positive attached to it. Don't use that expression, turning setback into comeback. There wasn't a setback with George Weah administration. There was accomplishment, there was advancement, there was prosperity, infrastructure, everything developmental-wise. That is why going into 2029, you're going to be making reference to those things, those developments, those prosperities that George Weah initiated. Setback means you have nothing to show, you have nothing to use to confront or to convince the people going into 2029. Not a good statement. Don't use it. Just say prosperity, advancement, accomplishments, meaning all that George Weah accomplished, the prosperity initiated, you are building on it as a justifiable case for a return to the presidency. With that said, in the next few minutes, George Weah returns to the presidency, and here is a glaring fact. Unity Party government don't have much time. 1, 2, Unity Party is losing the popularity, the attention of the people. They think that they have the people because they are doing one of two things. They think they're going to win CDC because Bwaka is doing this, Bwaka is doing that. Ironically, it is the same Bwaka who have caused bitterness, anger, vexation in the hearts and minds of the people. It is the same Bwaka who look at the people and displays them all over the place. It is the same Bwaka who look at the people and call them dogs. It is the same Bwaka who look at the people and say they are dogs carrying bones, and then the dogs look down the river, see another bone and drops that and take up another one. It is the same Bwaka who is sarcastic all over the place as the people see him, and they don't see him as a reliable person. Hence, they reach the conclusion, as I've said in the first segment, just sit in the midst of people, disguise yourself, sit in car, sit in the community with people, just listen to people, give on attention. That means don't fix yourself on them. Just act like you aren't listening to them. You're doing something different. You hear, you see, you feel, and talk about the people's hurt and pains and frustration at which this government inflicted on them. The people don't trust Joseph Yeman Bwaka again. Most of his officials know that. And the president himself has been struggling with that. He told the people they have not created jobs. His vice president made that clear. Before him, The World Bank president at the Senate made that clear. The U.S. government issued a situational report. In that report, they highlighted the government's inability to create jobs. The latest U.S. report, MCC scorecard, they talk of the government being ruthless, that the government isn't effective. There is no rule of law in the country. As evident, they did not pass the rule of law category. They failed in it flat. They said the government is ineffective, which means disjointed, everybody doing their own thing. Now, these are strong factors with time that are not going to work for Buakai, but work against Buakai. And they are working against him. So if they aren't working for Buakai, what is the alternative? Who the people see as alternative? They go back to the saying that people have traditionally, that it's good to be with the devil you know than the injured you have not seen. So they now see President Weah as the lesser of two evils. They see Joseph Yuma Boakai as the greater evil. And in such a reasoning politically, you want to go for the lesser evil than the greater evil. This is why God said in Matthew 24:21, he said, and there will be great tribulation. Great as used there is not a reference for anything of great of pleasant traits. It means the intensity at which the people are suffering today, the intensity at which Buakai is referring to them as dogs, the intensity at which Buakai have displaced them, have vanished them, and for somebody else to come and take the land. All of those things is the same. When God says there will be great tribulation, he's referring to the intensity. There is a great tribulation, meaning the intensity at which the people are suffering, so much so that a bag of water under Joseph Yuma Boakai Unity Party government is sold for $10 and with every possibility or likelihood of going to $15. Transportation has skyrocketed. Everybody doing their own thing. Transport Ministry is confused about the regulation. They're not updating the public as to whether the situation in the Middle East has reached a point by which gasoline price is going down. Is this so that the move in is still the same? People are grappling with all of these things. These are strong. These are but few of the many strong factors that are working against the government, and they are working in favor of George Weah's return to the presidency. Get it? The person who is in opposition doesn't have anything to prove. No. The person who is in has something to prove. The burden of proof does not lie with George Weah. The burden of proof lies with Joseph Yuma Boakai. President Weah isn't there. Boakai is there. So the expectation people look up to, they are looking up to Boakai. That is why everything they say, oh, Boakai, the President Boakai, President Boakai, President Boakai, President Boakai. Meaning, you have the responsibility. They say they rescue the country. So everybody focusing on the rescuer of the country. The rescuer ought to provide. The rescuer cannot inflict pains and hurts and frustration on its people. The rescue cannot displace its people. The rescue cannot refer to its people as dogs. The same people that went to telling them that George Weah drugged you, George Weah did this, George Weah did that. They cannot tell the people, they cannot refer to those people as dogs. The last thing you ever want to do as human being, to refer to your fellow human beings as dogs. These factors and more. Look at it, people. Look at it. I'm not talking theory yet. I'm talking practical realities. Look all over the place. Look around you. Even as I am delivering this lecture, some of you are confirming. Some of you are even saying more than I think I am saying. Some of you are talking how you're going through pains. All right. Look at what Buakai did in the Sinkot area. Displaced all of those people. A baby was under the rain because the mother did not have anywhere to go. The mother was under the rain. Look at the barrack, the one they call Camp Ramraw. The government isn't ready yet to do anything. A government that is sympathetic will look at their own plan and say, we want to do this. We want to develop Camp Ramraw Barrack, but we do not have the money now. We want to do it at 2027 or 2028, but it will require sourcing funding or looking for money here and there. We do not have the money right now. Must we go now and move the people from there, or must we give them time ahead that you people, we have intent, we have a purpose of turning this place into a modern military barrack, but we aren't ready now. Therefore, we are sourcing funding. We do not know when we will source the funding or when the funding will come. It's possible it can be done in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, in a year. But we gave you people between 4 to 6 months. You stay in and you can use that time, and gradually you people. By the time you've done that, you will see if you give them 6 months, in the space of 3 to 4 months, everybody will have left that place. And nobody will cry on you that you displaced them. Nobody will cry. Everybody will live quietly and say, thank God we find place. The government took the barrack, we turned the barrack over. At least they allow us to live there for some time to find our place. But you move in, look at the place. The place has now turned to defecation center. People will defecate in the plastic and throw it there. The place is getting filthy up. Very soon it will be hold your nose and pass. Because you think you are doing the right thing. When Weah was delaying on certain things, not that Weah did not have the power, not that Weah could not instruct the people who were in charge to move in, but he will look at the government's capacity, one, the government's readiness, which means the timing, and the funding. If the government has the desire, but the funding isn't there, the government wouldn't move to displace people. You people know, you people are witnesses how we are sympathetic of your condition. Very many of you that Buakai displaced, Buakai threw out. Many of you in Weah government, we are sympathetic of your situation. He could have driven you people out and said the government is ready for this place. Put you people out and it's just there, like just as Camp Ramraw is there, dilapidated. Some of you didn't have anything of a place called a room to sleep. We have built houses for you. It gave you your place. Only a sympathetic leader does that. Only a sympathetic person puts himself in the condition. And that is why every time Weah talks, he makes reference to his past. And that is 100% right, even 5,000%. Because when you look back over your life, how you came up, the struggle you faced, the things that you went through, you wouldn't want another person to go through it. And so you use your capacity to help them. Very many of you people are witnesses, even though they came around telling you we are a bad man, we are did it, and you are jumping up too. You thought that heaven doors were open to you, only to realize that it is the doors are Satan, hell door. It is unto you now. It is unto you to play your part. Do everything you can within your reach. Do everything within your reach to flush Joseph Yeman Boakai and his Unity Party people out. They were telling you that CDC officials were not reaching out. They were telling you that George Weah government officials are mean. George Weah officials are mean. They were telling you all of those things. Are they reaching out to you today? Are they sympathizing with you? Are they paying your hospital bills? Are they helping you with your child, your son, your daughter's school fee? Yesterday, when CDC people were doing it, they say, oh, the government money. Are they using the government money on you? Because the government money they're using, the government money they're taking, they are taking pay. They have no time for you. You're in wretched condition. They have no time for you. They see it as the time to enjoy, improve the living condition of their child, their children, their families, and other people. Look at the cars. They are riding. Some of them, most of the people in government today that were saying all manner of things against the CDC government, their daughters, they didn't have it. Today, they're riding great luxurious cars. They are in different universities, all of this place. But when Weah was empathizing and sympathizing with you, they came around and told you, oh, XYZ, and you believe it. Yeah, you are. Some of you are still living with people, they're mortgaging you. Because you displaced, they're mortgaging you, they're throwing talks at you. Many days, you feel the pains, the hurt, you crying. But you can't tell them that you're leaving because you got nowhere to go. We know that for a fact. Many of you, you're not eating normally because you can hardly afford it. Not that you are poor. In your little place you are living, you could afford. But because Joseph Yeman Boakai and his government displaced you, you have no means. There's no way you can reorder priorities because you don't have the means any longer. You are feeling it within. As I close, think. You have another opportunity before you. A person who empathizes and sympathizes with you. A person who, when you're not even thinking about it, move to help you to improve your life. See reason to be with that person. President Boakai and President Weah. President Boakai is the most wicked. President Boakai regrets nothing. No end. There is never a time in Weah's presidency he ever referred to his people as dogs. He always saw them as human beings and would cater to them. People's hearts got burned. Yeah, we are moved into build. New Cretan people have that testimony in other places. He could have sat He could have taken on the posture of Bwaka. When you hear people place burning, they just act like they didn't know about it. But he will move and restore those people, restore their humanity, restore their dignity, restore their humanness. 2029 coming. Don't attempt to give your vote to Joseph Yuma Bwaka in Unity Party. If you ever did, your condition will be like Somaliland. You will be living your more open flag going inside. They say a hint of a wise is quite sufficient. And Unity Party people, you like it or not, and you don't like it, but you have to hear it. George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Joseph Yuma Bwaka can beat George Weah. And there's nobody in Unity Party. So we advise you prep Bwaka up. You're prepping up medically real good so that he can move into 2029. If he can contest 2029, even if he contests 2029, he can. So let's assume, for a discussion's sake, let's assume that he isn't. For whatever the reason, just for discussion's sake, who you think is staying in from Weah? Bwaka can stay in from Weah. You look at it. You look at the margin from the 2023 elections. Then Bwaka has installed himself as Satan against the people. Who wants to be with Satan? Who wants to? Well, if you want to go to hell, then continue to support Unity Party. But you have to come out of your tribulation. You have to come out of hell. No better time to do it than 2029. You have to choose between good and evil. Just as God said, you have to choose between good and evil. Evil is Bwaka, good is Weah. Just as God said there are two roads. One leads to hell and another leads to heaven. You have to choose between these two. And whenever God said that, he guided. He did not say choose and he just left you to make a decision. He guided. And so I am guiding you. Choose the road of George Weah 2029. You look at it, that's how God works. He will tell you, he will give you the option. Then he will say, choose this. He say, I set before you life and death. Then what did he say? He said, choose life. So I'm telling you, choose life by getting on the side of George Weah, voting for George Weah 2029, or you choose hell, you choose death, and you die. Politically, you die. You real human life, because that's what you're going through. I'm saying that this way because we walk around, we move in communities, we see some things. It hurts when you hear people groaning in their hearts, complaining, crying, asking what kind of government we brought. We thought that our real government, we thought that they come to rescue us, but they made things wet. Then why we take we are from there now? We say we are a bar. We brought Bwaka. Yeah. I see you. George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Thank you for being with us. Please join us at 6:45. Isiaka Sharif and Josephine Pello are in with CDC Hour at 6:45. And then at 8, you know exactly what it is. The doctor is in, the teacher of the land, the light of the nation, the evangelist and Anthony at law, A.B. Weah, wave, face the issues. You don't want to miss it. If God permits, we're back tomorrow. Shalom.
From the latest news to your favorite tunes, we've got your back morning, night, and afternoon. Join our family, connect with your crew. Kings FM 88.5.